Well, my name is James Simpson. I'm originally from Scotland, but I've been living in Finland for a number of years now, in southwestern Finland. And my background is in tourism development, especially in the fields of nature-based tourism and cultural tourism, but also previous to that in social pedagogy, so using nature and culture as a learning resource. So I work for the town of Parainen in Finland, and for the Visit organization there. So Visit Pargas, Visit Parainen, in tourism development. So that's my main role. And we're a small department working on working with entrepreneurs, developing new products, branding, marketing, everything in between. And at the moment, my own role is that I survive on project financing, so developing routes and working with entrepreneurs. Well, I came through in the implementation stage for the Central Baltic project, but it established, or the idea was a small seed in the village of Nagu, in the Finnish archipelago. People became interested in the idea of pilgrimage, and they found the connections to Olav. They made some study visits to Trondheim in Norway, made connections to people in Åland and in Sweden, and they had this vision and this passion to develop a route that would physically link Turku with Trondheim. So that's how it organically evolved over a number of years, and then we got a great Central Baltic project with partners and associated partners, and then I jumped in to implement some of it. So my role was to develop the path, so implement the path in the Finnish archipelago, and that involved doing research on the history, but also negotiate with landowners. But the main job and maybe the best part of the job, the most exciting part, was working with local entrepreneurs to get them on board. I think the challenge of projects is that you have many stakeholders and you have to find everyone's interest to get them engaged into the project. So we also worked with local young people, children, to also get them involved. They're a very good way of communicating to the local population what we're doing and why we're doing it, and also getting them involved in the future. So that's maybe what I like most about the project, was working on multi-dimensional level. But also I had to work with Visit Finland to get them interested that this is a viable product, that we can sell it, that we're serious, our local visit organizations, travel agents, and so on. So it's quite, broad. And then sometimes very technical things like building our digital maps. So I think with Interreg, maybe one of the strengths is the element of cross-border cooperation and also regional cooperation. We had a number of stakeholders. We had different organizations that were involved in the group, from municipalities to associations. And we could share knowledge, experience between the organizations. We also had some partners in Sweden, for example, that already had an established pilgrimage path, so we could work with them. I also recorded a series of podcasts where we had interviews with the local entrepreneurs. And I think it was also a very good way to share experience and knowledge and enthusiasm between very diverse areas. So places where the entrepreneurs don't automatically meet, and to share their experiences and their maybe visions and what they see as the demands for the future. So we did things like that. The actual path is concretely connecting our areas, and that also means that we have to cooperate, because a walker that's walking from Finland to Sweden, then it's a chain of events. So we need to create the whole experience together, so that the visitor sees it as one experience. And what we tested in Finland, for example, where I was working, then we also tested in Sweden in different contexts. One aim of developing the path was also to get the path certified by the Council of Europe to be a European cultural route. And we got the certification for that. So it's a mark of quality. And for us, it was also a very important step, because pilgrimage, if we think back to 2016, in Finland anyway, was a very new concept. And in this way, it also broadened our scope away from pilgrimage, but also towards more cultural heritage. And it means that we can involve many different elements in our path. It's not only walking, it's not only pilgrimage, but it's also about the history. And it's the common history that you find along the path, and the local, the local history that you find. And it also opens up a European dimension to our cooperation, because we cooperate with other cultural routes through this network. We have synergies with a number of cultural routes there. Later on, we also did a cooperation with a research project, and that was a UNESCO-led research project. So finding best practice in Europe and sharing it on a European level. It was very interesting. Almost everyone has the same challenges. Doesn't matter if they're in Spain or in Finland or Sweden or Greece. We have very similar challenges, and we can implement each other's ideas by sharing knowledge. So I think the biggest achievement of the path was actually bringing people together. It was one of the dreams. A dream was also a longer dream of connecting the history of Olav from Novgorod to Trondheim. And unfortunately, with the current situation, that's not possible to be realized. But we anyway have connected very physically, but I think also emotionally, connecting people, bringing people together, that the landscape is a meeting place of different people. So that's maybe on a societal level, also a way that local people can get engaged with a tourism product. And then we also have a totally new target audience to the archipelago. And we see that before, very few people asked about hiking in the archipelago, but now it's also, in the other routes are cycle routes, people are walking it, and it's due to what we did. So both new target groups and also the groups coming in the spring and the autumn, not at all in the summer. And then creating a commonality between regions, so physically connecting them through a common product. In the project, we had cooperation with two other Central Baltic projects that had similar aims, that were working with tourism or working with cultural heritage. And unfortunately, we couldn't fully implement everything because some projects were ending and we were just starting, but we had a few events, especially disseminating and marketing some of the results that we had produced in the projects. And I think it's a very good thing, and I would encourage it, and especially if you have the time to do it earlier in the project experience. But I think it was good, and also many of our stakeholders, they're common for all of those projects, so that it's good to have a common approach to them from all the projects together. I think if you're thinking about establishing a new project and a cross-border project, I think the most important thing is that idea and the need, and establishing the good ideas, finding good project partners before you actually engage with searching for financing. So having that all worked out well in advance. But it takes a lot of work, but it's something that enriches the area. It also enriches the organization, because you're working on a multi-dimensional level, you're working with new partners, and you get enough time and enough budget to actually really establish something that is new. So it's you have to find the right idea and get the stakeholders, but it's a very valuable thing.